Hello Vikings and welcome back to the Valheim Guide episode 5, and today's episode is going to be all about killing the Elder Boss, which should be quite fun to do. And the reason we want to do that is because once we kill him we obviously get the Elder ability, and that includes the ability to chop down trees a lot faster and get a lot more wood, which means this little base we got going on here will then be able to develop a lot faster, which I'm very excited about. So in order to prepare for the Elder fight we of course need to find the Elder, which we did in the previous episode. So if you guys want to know how to do that, you can watch the previous episode, but here he is just down here. Now in order to get down there, looks like we are going to need a boat ride, which is what I'd expect. You almost always are going to need to boat over to another island to get to the Elder. Now, if we're going to go on a boat ride that long, we definitely don't want to take a raft, right? Because we'll probably sink and die. So we want to make a carve, and as you can see, that needs some fine wood. We're also going to need fine wood for portals, because I want a portal here and a portal over to the Elder, so that if I die, I don't have to do a really long trip back. We can just simply portal back. So we need fine wood basically for a few different things today, which means we are going to need the bronze axe, because that's the only thing we can use right now that's going to be able to cut down the trees that you see here, these white trees, to give us that fine wood. So in order to do that, what I've done is gone ahead and made up a forge in here. So to make up a forge, you can see here, you're going to need these resources right here, including copper. And when I did my live stream, which is on my channel, if anyone wants to watch that, we did a Valheim live guide thing. Yeah, that. We got a ton of copper and a ton of tin, which is good because it's 2 copper and 1 tin is 1 bronze. So we're going to get a load of bronze from that to make up the bronze axe, which if we go back to our forge, you can see here, the bronze axe right there needs 8 of the bronze. So I'm going to go ahead and make up the bronze axe, and we're going to go and chop down a load of trees and stuff. And the other thing that we're going to want to make today a bit later on is going to be the fine wood bow. So I'll come on to that later on as well, but essentially to make the fine wood bow, you're going to need some core wood and again some fine wood. So that's the start of the episode. Let me go and gather some resources and then we'll hop into it. I will be streaming Valheim often on both YouTube and Twitch. The Twitch link is in my video description. If you want to keep posted on all my YouTube streams and also all my videos and stuff, then please do subscribe for more. So the first thing I recommend you do is go and get yourself a portal set up at the Elder and connect it to your base. So I've got this one right here called Elder, and I'm going to go and make one over near the Elder somewhere, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. So the reason for that is because A, if we die during the Elder fight, we're able to get back very quickly, but B, during all of our prep work, it means that we can come through the portal to get to the Elder fight, rather than sailing with it where we might run into a serpent and die and lose all of our stuff. And to that end, I've only got on me the things that I need. So the things that I need are enough materials to make 1 portal on the other end, because of course this one's already set up. I also need the materials to make the carve in order to make that boat to sail over. So for us, we're going to come down to like here-ish, so the water starts here, and then try and sail down to this island here and see what's going on there. And you'll also need a bit of wood on you as well, because we're going to need to make a workbench, A, to make the carve in the first place, but B, to make a protective area around the portal when we get to the Elder, so that mobs in that region do not attack it and destroy it, which you guys will see in just a bit. So I'm going to set off on my adventure in a second, but my final little tip is to have a little sleep before you go, because you really don't want to be sailing at night time, as serpents are A, harder to spot, and B, will spawn more frequently, so it's going to be a bit tricky to go through the water of an evening. So we're going to go and get all that done right now, and I'll show you any interesting updates along the way. So I'm just running off to the area now where we're going to set off with our boat. Just a couple little other things to mention though, is worth taking with you a little bit of food, of course, to get your HP high, a bow, and a few arrows, like some decent arrows if you have them, because if you do run into a serpent, this is going to be the way you're going to attack it. You'll be able to shoot it, and also take with you like some sort of weapon and a shield and stuff like that, so that when you land on the island where the Elder's going to be, you're able to protect yourself. Okay, so it's a bit foggy, but you see we're just approaching a black forest biome now, and this is almost definitely going to be the one where the Elder is in, and so we're just going to come into land here somewhere, and the first thing to say is once you get yourself a landing spot, do make sure you mark on the map where your boat is, because obviously later on you're going to need to come and get it, and I can't tell you the number of times I forgot to do that, and yeah, it's just a real pain. So also try not to crash anyway, and that's always a good tip. But yeah, so when I leave my boat here, I'm going to go ahead and mark its location on the map, just like this, and let's go, here we go, and boat. Now, unfortunately, sometimes mobs can come and attack the boat, so you do want to make sure if there's any mobs in the area that you kill them. You know, if they're around here, spend the time to do that. Looks like we're getting a bit lucky here, there's no mobs around. So we're going to head off to the Elder location, see what we see along the way, and get ourselves a portal set up. Okay, guys, so what I did is I found a burial chamber here and just used this to build my portal next to, as you see here, and it is all connected up. So what you want to do is place the portal down as soon as you can and name it. So we've got the Elder there, so it is connected back up. And then you want to protect it. And then at least if you die while you are trying to protect it, you can teleport back very quickly if you're lucky and the mobs don't kill the portal. But that is why we, of course, do protect it eventually so that they can't do that. Now, you can see here I've had quite a long journey from from where I dropped my boat to get here towards the Elder. And this is why you definitely want to make sure you're nice and geared up, because I've been in quite a lot of fights and stuff, and I'm glad I had a lot of food and weapons and stuff with me. So the next step is what I like to do is just have a little look around the Elder spawn point and just see what the terrain is like and see what's in the vicinity. In particular, you want to pay attention to any spawners that are nearby, because we're going to take care of those before we destroy the Elder, before we fight the Elder, I should say. And I'll go into that in a second. I'm going to show you that on cam and the reasons why we do that, but that's what I recommend. Just do a bit of a reconnaissance mission and mark everything around the Elder of interest. The other thing to say about your portal, guys, is be sure to mark it on the map and use some sort of unique marker. So I had the burial chamber around here, and as you can see, none of my other markers in this vicinity are the same. This means that if I ever need to get back to my portal quickly, which you may need to do to escape the Elder fight, or even just to escape the mobs while you're doing your prep work for the Elder fight, you know where it is very quickly on the mini-map, and you can get there for a safe escape. The final thing to mention about your portal is you may want to take a hoe with you to make your protected area. I've got the vegetation on low right now just to show you how bumpy the Black Forest can be, and so the hoe can obviously like flatten you out a bit. I mean, I got quite lucky to have a bit here that was big enough. And don't worry, guys, the vegetation is about to go back on high. Just wanted to show you for this little bit. I mentioned you might want to bring a hoe. So having got myself a good amount of both the fine wood and the core wood, and obviously a load of deer hide just from playing the game in general, I'm going to go ahead and make up a fine wood bow, which we'll find up the top here. There we go. And you can see there 10 core wood, 10 fine wood, and 2 deer hide. Very good. I'm then going to upgrade this bow, so we are going to have it to level 2. You see it's just an extra 5 of each of the wood and an extra 2 deer hide. To me, that is incredibly cheap and very worth it. And finally, we have something to replace ourselves from the crude bow level 2. So this is going to be our weapon for the fight. Now, in terms of the arrows, fire arrows, I should say, are the absolute best arrows that you can use in the game. So I know I've got a load of resin here somewhere, and I've got a load of feathers as well. My storage will be sorted out soon, don't worry. So you definitely want to make up a good amount of these sorts of arrows. I'm probably going to make up about 200, and then what I'll do is let you know afterwards how many of those we got through. But it's going to depend on basically how good you are with a bow, both like how good you actually are and how good your character's skill level is with that bow. But I would say 200 should be plenty. The next thing I'd like to talk about is armor for the fight. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and make myself a tanning rack. You can see the ingredients required there on screen. Not too bad, but by placing this down, we do upgrade our workbench. It does give us some new recipes as well. So now what I'm going to do is look at the different options that we've got here. Now, at the moment, all I've got in terms of armor is the troll leather pants and also the troll leather tunic. Now, I do quite like the troll leather armor, but of course you can go down the leather route as well. It just depends what you have available to you. But what I recommend is the troll hide cape, which is at 10 troll hide and 10 bone fragments. Or you can go ahead and make up a troll leather helmet, which is the troll hide and the 3 bone fragments. So you can make whichever depending on which armor you might already have. But just to say, this will give you an armor of 6 for the helmet, as opposed to the cape, which only gives you an armor of 1. So of course we are going to prioritize making the helmet up first. But if you already had like a different helmet, then it might be better to make up the cape. Just to say as well, when it comes to upgrading troll armor, you can see here that to, for example, upgrade my leather tunic, I only need 2 troll hide for that. So another benefit of making up the helmet, which requires only 5 of the troll hide, is you're going to save yourself 5 troll hide, because if we were to make up the troll cape, that requires 10. So with that 5 troll hide that we've saved, we can actually upgrade 2 of our pieces of armor right now, which is going to be very useful. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my troll leather pants and also my troll leather tunic. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is food, and you can see I've got 10 tin on me, and that's because what I recommend you do, guys, is make yourself up a cauldron. As you see here, it requires 10 tin, and place that on top of a campfire, and boom, you're going to unlock a load of recipes. So let's go ahead and open the cauldron and see what we have unlocked. So you can see here you got the boar jerky, which is a stamina and health balance food, and it gives very good amounts of both. So this is a nice balanced food you might want to take with you. One thing I highly recommend taking with you, which I'll definitely be taking, is Queen's Jam, because it gives you 40 stamina. And as we're going to be doing primarily bow attacks, in fact almost entirely bow attacks throughout the fight, the stamina is going to be very useful because it does require a bit of stamina during the fight. As opposed to the meads and things that you can take with you, if you can be bothered to make up meads, then certainly it's going to help. I'm not going to for this fight, as I don't think it is necessary, but certainly worth a mention because they can help you out, obviously, with the healing and stamina buffs that you can get from these 2 meads right here. Okay, guys, so I have here the foods that we're going to eat, and I also have some of the butte berries. So I'm going to eat those first, and I'm going to throw up. Here we go. We're spewing. And I got to say, the noise they use for when you're throwing up is just a little bit like, you know when you hear someone throwing up and it makes you want to throw up? That's kind of what this does to me. How about you guys? It actually gets me a little bit. But yeah, pile of puke there. Let's get out of the way. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I want to show you guys when we eat these 3 foods, what our stamina and HP looks like. So let me go ahead and eat these 3, let my stamina build up, and you can see where that's getting to. And then if we wait a little bit longer, of course, I'll be able to show you what my max HP is at. But here we go. Here's my stamina. So it's going to max out there at 125, which is pretty decent. Like if we wield a weapon a second and use this, you can see it's a reasonable size stamina bar for this stage of the game. Bearing in mind that we're not purely focusing on stamina, we are trying to do like a bit of a mix and have a good amount of stamina and HP for the fight, as both are going to be useful for different reasons. So there we go, guys. Our health is maxed out around 95 there. So 95 HP and that amount of stamina that we saw there just before is pretty decent in my opinion, and will stand us in good stead for the Elder fight. Okay, guys, so now I want to talk with you a little bit about shield options. So right here I've got the bronze buckler, and we're going to start by talking about that one. So the bronze buckler, you can see here, these are the stats at level 1. Not amazing really. Block armor just 16, we got the block force of 30. If you fully upgrade it to a level 3 like I've done right here, you see the block armor does go up to 28 and the durability will also go up. So it can be useful in certain situations, but I think the better option for this particular situation, being the Elder fight, is going to be the bone tower shield that you see here. Now, looking at this, you can see the block armor for a level 1 of these starts at 32, and the block force is 100. So when we're fighting the Elder, we're not going to be parrying too much. We're mainly just going to want to protect ourselves against the Elder attacks, and obviously if there are any other mobs nearby, we'll have to protect against those as well. Sometimes, you know, grey dwarfs and things will come at you during the battle. We're going to go ahead and make this up right now and look at this in action. Now, just to say, when it comes to upgrading, if you look at the bone tower shield here, to upgrade it even just once, you do need a level 4 of the workbench. And in order to get that, if we go on to the crafting area here, you'll have to have an adze. So we already have the chopping block and the tanning rack. The next upgrade is the RAZER. It only needs 3 bronze, so it can be done, but I just wanted to mention that you will need that if you want to upgrade it. But without upgrading it, you can see the stats right here are pretty good. A block force of 100 and a block armor of 32. That's just at level 1, of course. And also to upgrade it, I should say, although it does need the level 4, it's not too much in terms of the extra materials you need, because you don't need any more skeleton trophies, which are more difficult to get, just the bone fragments and the wood, which you should have a lot of by now. Okay, so I placed the RAZER down here, and I have now, of course, upgraded the workbench to level 4 by doing that, and we can upgrade the bone tower shield, as I said, pretty easily to do. To upgrade it again would need a level 5, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. But now if we look over here, you can see the different stats we have for it, and the block armor is now at 38. So you compare that to the bone shield that we had before, which is here, and the block armor is 32. So it's gone up by 6, and so yeah, pretty useful, pretty good to do, and my favorite shield to use for the Elder fight since it came out in the Hearth and Home update. The next thing to talk about very quickly are the ancient seeds. You'll need 3 of these in order to spawn in the Elder. As you can see, I've already got 4 on me, and that's because I've killed so many Grey Dwarf brutes already, mainly from when they've been the Grey Dwarf event, you know, where they're attacking my base. But you could also just kill them when you're out and about if you see them, of course. Now, in case you don't have them, the best way to get them is going to be by going to a black forest and finding yourself a spawner, which is why you should always mark your spawners on the map, because they are going to be useful. Now, there's 2 different ways that you can actually get the ancient seeds from the spawners, so I'm going to go to a spawner right now and show you how you can get them. So we're now just going to head over to the spawner, and this is probably the easiest way of getting the seeds. You can see the spawner in the distance there in purple. Now, as you get close, I would wield your bow, and fire arrows in particular are good against Grey Dwarfs because they're weak to piercing and fire. As you can see, there's a shaman over there, so we're going to try and land a hit on the shaman straight away, as he's one of the most dangerous ones, because he can heal the mobs around him. As for normal Grey Dwarfs, just fight them however you normally do. I mean, I just use a club against them. We're going to be fine. There we go. But what we're really looking for is a Grey Dwarf brute. So I'll show you when we found one of those. Okay, so there's a Grey Dwarf brute right there. And as you see from our first shot on him, we already did a fair bit of damage. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough stamina for the second. But with the fire arrows there, he took a fair bit of damage. And with the second shot, with a bit of fire, that might be enough, actually. I'm just going to leave it and see if that was actually enough. Is he going to burn to death? Not quite. But with one hit from our club, he will now die. So yeah, that's definitely the best way to fight them. Is just shooting arrows at them. And that time he didn't drop any, but there is a percentage chance that he'll drop ancient seeds. And basically, you can keep doing this at the spawners until you get the ancient seeds required. So 3 are required. The other thing to say is when you destroy these spawners, you have a chance of getting seeds from them. However, I'm not going to destroy this spawner, and you may not want to destroy yours either. The reason being is that later on in the series, I'm going to make a spawner farm there, where we get an infinite amount of all of the Grey Dwarf family drops. So that will include seeds, but also things like wood and rock bark and all that sort of stuff. Basically, anything you can get from a grey dwarf that spawns and dies naturally to fire. And there's a lot of good jobs you can get from them. Now, if you'd like to see a tutorial on this, there is one on my channel already that I've done before on how you can use the grey dwarf spawners to make a farm for infinite amounts of those materials. So before we set off, as always, we're going to want to make sure that we have a good rested buff, and I recommend again that you sleep before you head off. Now, just to say, at this stage of the game, there are going to be some new decorational items available to you that provide comfort. So things like banners and the chairs and the tables right here, of course, are all going to provide comfort to you, as well as the deer rug you see here. And I've got all of these around my bed, meaning that right now my comfort in the house is level 9. So we just sit down here and wait for that to take effect. There we go, it's already done it. Our rested buff will now last for 16 minutes, which is fantastic. So worth looking at, especially if you've got a good amount of resources to do this. Oh, that's a bit weird, looking through the troll head. Ha so yeah, and of course you need a troll head looking down on you while you sleep, because that's just perfectly normal. So the final checklist before we head off, make sure you have repaired everything. I've already done that off cam. The other thing to do is near your portal that goes to the Elder, so this is me right here, you may want to place a chest with some backup gear, backup food, and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm not going to do that because I'm a total pro and I'm going to kill him first time. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that because all my chests are right here and stuff, but you might want to think about it as backup gear. But we've got everything now, so we are ready to head through. So what I'm going to do is eat up all of my food so that can start taking effect, and head to the Elder and spawn it in. Let's go spawn him in, and I'll show you how we're going to do this. And of course, we are going to use our Eikthyr ability to help us out through the fight. And boom. So now we run up to the altar, and with the season hotbar we press 7, and here comes the Elder. So let's get our bow at the ready. We have 199 fire arrows, by the way, so not quite 200, but I'll let you know how many I use in the end. And let's see. So it looks like he's spawned in over there, so we want to get this side of this pillar and be ready for him, and boom. So fire arrows, definitely the way to go, guys. They are the way of doing damage to him, as he is weak to fire. So now I'll show you some of his attacks and how we're going to get on with this fight. Okay, there's his first attack, guys, and when I'm stood behind this pillar, all those black spindly things that he's shooting at us are not hitting us because the pillar protects us. And of course, you can use any of the pillars here to protect you. So if you have to move during the fight, that's fine. Just get yourself behind the next pillar. Okay, here's the next thing. These roots. Okay, here they come. Get away from those roots, okay? This is why you need a lot of stamina during this fight. When those roots come up, they will do a fair bit of damage, and you want to make sure you're running far away from them. So that's why we sort of hightailed out of there as he came. All right, now we're in a dangerous spot, so we need to get back over here behind this pillar. Okay, is he going to shoot? No, he's trying to stomp us, and the roots are shooting at us. Okay, so a lot of this fight is going to be running to a good location rather than worrying about fighting him, especially up close, at least in the way that I do it. Again, you guys may have your own methods of doing this. Okay, so the roots are here, so this is now my safe pillar, and we get behind this one. We can block ourselves from his attack and come and get him. So he's down maybe about a quarter, maybe slightly under right now, and we are not taking damage, and now we can rest up behind this pillar. There we go, and having the rested buff here is incredibly useful. So now he's coming at us, we'll get a shot, and we'll run to a pillar over this way. These roots are starting to die down now, so we should be okay. And what's he up to now? Is he going to raise the roots? Is he going to shoot? I think we're good. So we're just going to keep doing this process, and basically that, guys, is going to be how you're going to defeat the Elder. Alrighty, guys, as you can see, he's almost dead. This shot might just do it, and boom, it did. There we go. Now, just be careful when he dies. The roots are still here, as you can see, so if you are on very low health, then, yeah, just be a little bit careful with that. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is down in the video description, I'm going to put a link to a video where I show the entire Elder fight. So if you guys want to see the whole thing, then you will be able to do so, because if you're new to the game, it could be useful, or you might find it entertaining. This won't be publicly viewable on my channel, but there'll be a link in the description for anyone who wants it. So we killed the Elder, and we get 2 very cool things from this, of course. 1 being the Elder Trophy, and 2 being the Swamp Key. The Elder Trophy, we go and put at spawn in the same way that we did with the Eikthyr Trophy, and this one, when activated, will give us extra wood cutting power, so we'll be able to cut down trees much more quickly, which I'm very, very happy about, as it will enable us to build a lot more at our base. As for the Swamp Key, guys, this one right here will be used in the swamp areas to let us into crypts, which is how we get into iron, which will come up in an upcoming episode, but that's what that's for. So 2 very useful items that we get from killing the Elder. So here we are at spawn, guys, and we have our Elder Trophy on us, so we're going to go and hang that up where it needs to be hung, and we can press E there to activate that power as you see, and as it says on it, it will give us faster wood cutting for the period that it is active, and it is pretty decent. It's pretty noticeable. I didn't mean to actually activate it right now, but I just meant to have it there available to us, but never mind. So the dad jokes are, as always, about to come, guys, but before they do, I just want to say I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it useful, and if you did, then please do consider liking and subscribing for more. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Why should the second boss in Valheim be taken seriously? Because you should always respect your elders. Why did the Elder boss go to the plains? He wanted to branch out. What did the Elder boss say when I was shooting at it? Leave me alone. Do you know the brief explanation of an acorn? In a nutshell, it's just an oak tree. Why don't trees like difficult riddles? Because they hate being stumped.